From the Opupco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell. Time for We Pick 'em. We've got 5 topics because we don't have enough college games, but we got some good ones here, Barry. Let's get right to it. Let's start with this one. Oklahoma State's still looking for an offensive coordinator after Todd Monken left. Is it going to be David Yost or the field?
I'm going to take the field for this reason. I think Mike Gundy will come to his senses. I'm a big lover of varied offenses in college football. Love the spread, love the old wishbone, love the USC power I. I love it all, except Missouri's offense. I hate Missouri's offense. The quarterback 9 yards deep in the shotgun, you get first and goal, and you can't get in a power set. Hate the Missouri offense. Maybe David Yost has a more varied imagination. Maybe he was just doing what Gary Pinkel wanted, but nothing about that Missouri offense appealed to me.
What about David Yost's hair? Did that appeal to you?
As somebody who doesn't really comb his hair all that often, I really can't say too much. So I'm going to have to say good for David Yost.
David Yost, I think the field is your defensive or your offensive coordinator at OSU. I don't know who it's going to be, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be David Yost. But yeah, look at that hair. Wow, I don't even know what to say. Dana Holgerson, eat your heart out, maybe?
It looks like a hat.
It does look a little bit like a hat, yeah. David Yost left Missouri, by the way, citing some burnout. So I think there's a chance that he's not ready to come back yet. But I mean, Missouri, while they've had some, nice teams, and obviously these have been some salad days for their program, nothing that they've done just has really set me on fire. So I think it'll be the field. I don't know who it's going to be, but they can go out and get somebody, Barry. They paid Todd Monken $600,000. They can go out and get him a good offensive coordinator to lead an offense that's got some great weapons. All right, what about this one, Barry? Josh Heupel and La Tech. Should he have gone, or was he right to stay?
Well, I think it's just up to him on what his ultimate goal is. But if Josh Heupel's goal is to someday be the head coach at Oklahoma, I think he made the right pick. Now, if he just wants to be a head coach anywhere at a good program and even an elite program, probably should have gone. La Tech is a launching pad. It's a jumping off point. However, the best way to be the head coach at Oklahoma, in my opinion, is to be at Oklahoma. Sooners have hired only one sitting head coach since 1946. They always go with an assistant, it seems like. 5 of the 8 that they've hired were on the staff. I think Josh Heupel probably made a prudent move to stay if he wants to be the Sooner head coach.
See, and I don't necessarily think that if he would have left, it keeps him from going to Oklahoma eventually. I think he should have gone. I think the experience of being a head coach could have really been valuable for him if it's Oklahoma he wants to get to or anywhere that he wants to get to. I mean, I don't know why it would necessarily be a bad move unless you just don't want to be at La Tech. But obviously they have the weapons after this last year to run a pretty high-powered offense, an offense that is pretty familiar to Josh Heupel. So, even if he wants to be the Oklahoma head coach, I think they know at Oklahoma what he's about. And if he goes to La Tech, it's not like he falls off the radar. He gets that head coaching experience, which I think is invaluable today to know. It's different than just being a coordinator. I think being a head coach would have been good for Josh Heupel. And what about this, Barry? Let's talk about the NFL. Pretty good game this weekend in Dallas. Dallas hosts the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who you got?
Well, I got the team with the most fans in the stands. And you still don't know because when the Steelers go on the road, particularly in Dallas, half the ballpark is wearing black and gold. But I'm picking the Cowboys. I think Dallas is on a little bit of a roll. The victory Sunday was big time in the tragic circumstances of losing a teammate. Down to Cincinnati, 9 points with 8 minutes to go, rally and win that game. That showed me something about the Cowboys. I think they a little bit on the upswing. I think they get the victory over Pittsburgh, keep their playoff hopes alive.
I guess I'm still not a believer with the Cowboys yet. I'm picking the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger back playing. I think that swings this game towards the Steelers. Yeah, I know that the Cowboys 7-6 in the thick of the playoff hunt. Still can't hardly believe it. Don't know how they're there, but they are there. Kudos to them. But I think the Steelers, they go to Dallas and get the job done. But this is going to be a slugfest ball game, Barry. I mean, I think it's really going to be fun watching these two teams get after it on Sunday afternoon. All right, what about this one, Barry? OU against Texas A&M. In basketball, they're playing the All-College on Saturday afternoon. Maybe we should be talking about whether the All-College will survive instead of who wins this game. But who wins this game?
Well, I think the Sooners probably win it. I don't know who the heck's going to win. If I sat here and claimed to know what's going on with Texas A&M basketball, I'd be lying to you. But I think the Sooners probably get the win. I like what Lon Cougar's doing with this team. It's, they're not a great team. I don't know that they're going to make the NCAA tournament, but they're much better. They're playing well. They get the Aggies in a virtual home game. I don't think the environment will be electric, but I do think the Sooners can play solid and beat a foe that they certainly are familiar with.
Yeah, A&M's not playing very well this year. I'm going with OU as well. I think Oklahoma, I've been impressed with what I've seen out of the Sooners. Again, I think there's still a lot to be determined, but it looks like to me in the Big 12, the difference between, say, number 3 and number 8 or 9 is not going to be that much. I think it's going to be pretty razor thin, some of these games that are going to decide if you finish in the top half or the bottom half of the Big 12. I think Oklahoma's got as good a chance as any team that sort of falls in that mix to be there. And if you finish in the top half of the Big 12, you're going to the NCAA tournament. So I think this is a good measuring stick game, a former Big 12 foe coming to Oklahoma City to play in that all-college. All right, Barry, lastly, let's talk about Monday night basketball. The Spurs come to town to face the Thunder. Who you got in this one?
Big Monday has a new meaning. And you know what? I'm going to take the Spurs because I don't know that the Thunder is all that seasoned in critical games. Thunder's not played a bunch of good teams this year in their hot start. They've lost to a bunch of the good teams that's come in here. They've lost to Atlanta. They lost to Memphis. They lost at San Antonio in the season opener. They lost at Boston. They've built that record up on a bunch of rum-dums. Now, that doesn't mean I don't think the Thunder's good. I think the Thunder will be there at the end. I think the Thunder's an outstanding team. I just think they haven't had enough of these games. They're going to get a bunch more. They're going to get playoff ready, but it starts fairly soon. Might even start Monday night. I think the Spurs a little bit more seasoned in games like this season.
Well, that's for sure. But I am picking the Thunder. I think it's going to be an electric environment, the end of a 5-game homestand that these guys have won, played decent, didn't play great against the Hornets, but have really been playing well up until that point, still won that game on Wednesday night. So I think they win. And, I think what Scott Brooks is doing with his second unit, he's inserted Kevin Durant in there more. He's gotten Russell Westbrook in there some. I think that second unit's really starting to crystallize, but it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that Spurs second unit, which is really good too. How do they defend him? We know how the starters match up. We saw that last year in the Western Conference Finals. But how does that new second unit, what do they do? How do they play against the Spurs? That remains to be seen, and I think it's going to be an interesting, telling part of that game on Monday night. But I think the Thunder pulls out a victory. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.